Hey, what's going on? We're looking at the epilogue and the acknowledgements and a couple of final thoughts about young bucks killing the business from backyards to the big leagues. So the epilogue, I thought maybe they wouldn't assign it, as it were, but they certainly did. Matt Jackson writing the epilogue. It's really just an encapsulation because it ends with the launch of the announcement about AEW. And so they kind of go on to what everybody does, right? The entire wrestling economy changed as the threat of a new competing company helped secure wrestlers their jobs in rival promotions with better pay. Me, Nick, Cody Rhodes, and Kenny Omega would be named executive vice presidents of talent, live events, and creative, working directly with founder, president, and CEO Tony Khan. They go on how Tony Khan did indeed secure that television show on TNT. Dynamite. It's called Dynamite apparently because that's something that when Tony Khan used to sort of fantasy book when he was growing up, he had this show idea called Dynamite. And how as of April 2020, which we all know what happened there. But up until then, they'd basically beaten NXT soundly in the ratings, and now it's even more the case now. They talk about Double or Nothing, their first pay-per-view, or their debut of All Elite Wrestling, and how there were more than 10,000 fans, and it sold out in 4 minutes, and 100,000 pay-per-view buys, and they did All Out, where Chris Jericho became their first champion. And how Nick and Matt wrestled Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega in a match that was deemed, indeed, one of the all-time greats. How they have they still have, all the merch sales, and then he kind of goes into their families, which is pretty awesome. And, as the time that they're publishing this book or finishing it, they're in the midst of COVID, right? And he talks about how the silver lining is all the time they want to spend with their family. And the interesting thing is I had a big weekend in Georgia with just a ton of wrestling people and friends of mine. And whenever I would talk about this book, and I did, this book really, really was something that was in the front of my mind. And people would talk about their encounters with the Bucks, and to a person would say, like, what devoted family people they were. How, when they would do these cons with them and stuff like that, how they would constantly be on the phone, like FaceTiming with their kids and stuff like that. So I thought that was a really cool thing. Really cool thing. And, and then they kind of look back at how far they've come, from their backyard ring and Reseda and Tokyo Dome, Sears Center, all this kind of stuff, where we'll always be kids chasing that same stubborn dream. Acknowledgements. It's who you'd exactly expect them to go to. Their family and the wrestling people they've encountered along the way, and the people that they were close to. They're making sure to just name as many people as they can. I'm sure afterwards, inevitably, they were like, oh, there's some people we forgot, but it doesn't seem this way. They're really thorough. It's really great. And they end with a nice thing about their fans. And since this is the end of the book and close to the end of our time, I'll just go into it. More importantly, thank you to the fans. Every interaction we've had with you has truly made our lives happier, whether it's slapping hands with you during an entrance, sharing a moment with you at a meet and greet, or reading a message from you online, how we have impacted your life in a positive way. We are forever grateful. Our careers would have ended a long time ago if it weren't for your love and encouragement. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for buying this book. And then a little thing about the authors. Not a whole lot, but, and again, if you got this book, chances are you knew who they were. And then in the back cover, they have all the stuff about what their moves look like and all that kind of stuff. Really cool. Overall impressions of the book. It's the best wrestling book I've read this year. Now, I can't declare it the best wrestling book of the year, because I'm going to try to arrange the Buddy Rogers book. Comes out this week, I believe. And I'm going to try to get a hold of that and read that as well. And a huge Buddy Rogers fan. But I can't imagine it will be written as well, actually, and as in an entertaining fashion as the Young Bucks book. This is a infinitely easy read, and that sounds patronizing. I'm just saying in the sense of how it flows and how it moves from chapter to chapter, and having Nick and Matt take turns writing the chapters, I think it was a really good move. I wish the book success. I know the new goal for the Bucks is to get this book in the top 10 sellers. But the fact that it spent that time on a bestsellers list, the fact that sales haven't fallen off as much as it does for every other book seemingly, but people continue to buy it. Let me encourage you, if you've stuck with me through these chapters and for whatever reason have not bought the book, that would seem incredibly unlikely, but I know in this time people don't read as much as they once did. Fuck it, get the digital version and read this, or buy the hardback book. I heard that there's even signed copies still left through Barnes and Noble. Get one, right? Get one, read a book. Everybody often has a New Year's resolution of, I'm going to read more. If you don't, you should. And why not start with the Young Bucks? Anyway, it was great. Here's my acknowledgements. Thank you to the people who have been watching these things and all the people who have responded through doing this chapter by chapter thing, which was kind of a crazy idea in a lot of ways. I picked up a crap ton of Twitter followers in addition, and it sort of trickled down to my other social media, which is forcing me to keep up with that stuff, which is wonderful. I have the biggest full disclosure I've done to date coming up, so I'm going to have to focus on that. And but again, I encourage you to get the book. I hope you've enjoyed this. When I get a big block of time, which I never really seem to have, I'm going to compile all of these videos about the Young Bucks book into one long thing, since people have said that they would prefer to watch it that way, which seems to me to be insane. I can't imagine how long that fucking thing will be, but it is what it is. Anyway, thanks for joining me. Take care. Have a great week.